Hello everyone, Bill Molyneux here with Bill's History and Wargame World. Well, if you saw my last video, I'm trying to reorganize my war games. So as I'm taking them off the shelves and rearranging them, it occurred to me that there really is no YouTube video on French Indian war games of all that's available. So we're going to go through all the French Indian war games I have in my collection, and there's two I couldn't quite figure out where they are. We'll leave that for the very end of the video. Plus, I have a couple French Indian war games that were never released by Dennis Bishop and Richard Berg. But I have all the files and the maps. They'll never get released, unfortunately. They both have passed on. So, let's go through and check out some French Indian War board games, and maybe you'll find a couple you never heard of before. Please stay with me. I think you'll enjoy this, and please subscribe. Alright, let's start left to right. I'll pause the camera. Well, we're going to start off with one of my very first games of the Ziploc games, a French Indian War Battle Collection. This was with Peter Schultz, and we were $2 games at the time. Almost 18, 16 years ago. That is the Fort Ticonderoga game. And I was selling those out of the back of the car at French Indian War sites. And then Fort Ticonderoga actually were the first to start selling my games. And, alright, let's move on to the next one. Well, David Heath at Lock and Load liked that French Indian War collection so well that we released it as Bloody Mohawk. And Lock and Load did a fantastic job with that. And then we came out with Savage Wilderness. And both games did well. And then David felt I could do a little bit more with them on my own. He was very gracious and gave me back my files. And let's find out what I did with Savage Wilderness and Bloody Mohawk. Well, Savage Wilderness and Bloody Mohawk became the board game volume 1 and 2. And things that we changed. One thing was we doubled the size of the maps. They're large 1-inch hexes and big 1-inch counters. The artwork we changed. Fort Ticonderoga actually picked their own artwork, and they also did their own write-up on the back. And then Fort Frederick at near Hagerstown, Maryland. Robert Ambrose, the park ranger there. We did a Fort Frederick picture. And I was very good friends with Tim McGowan. He was a park ranger there, and he passed away last year. So I dedicated this one to him. He was a real nice fellow and a great historian. Alright, let's continue around the table. We got over 20 French Indian War games to go, and I'm going to try to do this in 15 minutes. Well, here we are with Struggle for New France. And Peter Schultz of Schultz Games, we released that some 10 years ago or more. And it is a grand strategy game of the entire French Indian War. And then we followed it up with Blue Panther took it over this past year here and made a second edition. Several people helped greatly with the second edition. Ryan Hillman, I might have pronounced his last name incorrectly, but there are several people very much involved with the second edition. So thank you to everyone at Blue Panther and the entire team there. Well, we're going to zip up to Wilderness Empires. Worthington Games. Can't say enough about Grant Wiley and all. This is discontinued. But it did very well in Kickstarter. And it's a huge game. It's sort of like Struggle for New France on steroids. I guess that's about it for Wilderness Empires. I will say that it was stacked floor to ceiling at Fort William Henry and Fort Ticonderoga when it first was released, and I gotta say, it was pretty cool to see that when I had to go up there and sign games and autographs. My head did fit through the gate at both forts, though, so I didn't get too much of an ego. Come on, laugh a little, life is short. Let's go look at the next games in line. Well, here we have 1759, the Siege of Quebec, and of course, it's Worthington again. And of course, this is not an unboxing video. This is more of a video of war games in the French Indian War period. All right, what do we got next? Well, everyone knows of GMT, one of the greatest war game companies, probably after SPI and Avalon Hill, Wilderness Wars. And, Wilderness War, it's quite a game, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're in the French Indian War, you have that in your collection. Well, from Academy Games, the French Indian War, Conquest 1754. It's a card-driven, card game. Very, very good. I can't say enough about the artwork on the box. It's very good. So, to keep the games going, I can't stop and talk about the games in detail. I have so many games to go over. We have the French Indian War game. Again, this is the historical game company published by Blue Panther Games. Very nice game, very introductory level. All right, I got to swing the camera around. We have more French Indian War games to go. Wow, it's Worthington once again with Hold the Line, the French Indian War expansion. This is a mix of miniatures and board war game with their Hold the Line Revolutionary War system with the French Indian War expansion pack. All right, and Worthington really seems to be taking the lead here, because the next one we're coming to is the French and Indian War and by Worthington. Now, this French Indian War game, and pause the camera. This game is very nice. You can set it up and play it in less than 2 hours, hour and a half maybe. Very nice introductory level. It's I hate to say it, but it's probably a little bit better than Wilderness Empires. But we will continue moving with our games. The next one is called Mohawk. Now, Mohawk was made in 1983, and I actually had to buy a Xerox copy from someone to get it because it's become so rare. And I'm going to pause the camera and show you the map. Okay, there's the map, and Gilbert Collins, he does a very good video on this game and how it works and plays. It's a part of my collection. The fellow who sold it to me on eBay probably 15, 20 years ago. It's a copy, but it's okay. Some of it I didn't care for is I have some eyesight issues, and the movement system on this map was a bit hard for me to see. All right. So that is Mohawk, 1983 by Outlook Council Publishing Company. I think they're out of business. I gotta pause the camera. All right, this is one of my more favorite games. Is Du France, 1760. And all right, if you liked 1776 Avalon Hill, this is the same thing. Just made it into the French Indian War. It's a very good game. It's been out of print for years. A little note on the white flag. When I'm giving my talks at French Indian War events, the French flag was all white for the purity of the Catholic faith. It was not for surrender or parley. After the French Indian War is when you see the white flag becoming the flag of surrender. So if you see a white flag at a French Indian War reenactment, it's either the national colors with two seams, or if it has a cross in the center, it is the colonel's colors. So, New France plays just like 1776. Very nice intermediate game. All right, let's continue down the line. Victory or Death. This is a great little introductory game on the French Indian War. My son Ethan and I used to play this a lot. As you can see, it's similar to Struggle for New France, Wilderness Empires, grand strategy game. Plays in under an hour. It's a very good game. I'm not sure if it's still available. But you can check on Board Game Geek. All right. Man, it's 11 minutes and we're still going through games. Montcalm and Wolfe. Well, here is Montcalm and Wolfe, and the map is out there. Turn it over a little bit, and the map had a weird color scheme to it. Had some issues with it with my eyesight at times, and also I wasn't huge with the counters, so at the time I was making lots of counters for games for different game designers, so I actually made homemade counters for it that I liked better. So that's Montcalm and Wolfe. I only played it a couple times. Made in 1997. What do we got next? I'm going to pause the camera. What we have here is Battles for a Continent, Plains of Abraham and St. Foy. This was a Dennis Bishop design being printed by White Dog Games. And then it sort of never really got printed. I think they printed maybe 20 copies. And this is the Plains of Abraham, St. Foy. And then Braddock's Defeat. And this is 2010 when this is made. And I helped with the play testing and stuff. And Dennis Bishop has passed away, the great game designer and friend of mine. And it'd be nice to see this get published again by White Dog. Maybe I can talk to Michael Kennedy and see about having this published. The map was Tim Allen did the map for this. So I don't know if Tim Allen sees my videos, but if you know him, do a shout out that because this map is extremely well done. Wow. What am I missing? I'm missing Quebec by Columbia Games. I'm missing a couple games by a Ziploc game by Decision Games in my collection here. I couldn't find it. It's in one of my plastic tubs. I have about 6 tubs of Ziploc games. And Rogers Island or something it's called by Decision Games. And then also in the world of games that I couldn't find besides the Quebec and that one, Victory Point Games has the French Indian War that was similar to Rorke's Drift, and that's somewhere in all my plastic tubs. Alright, let's pause the camera and finish this out. Well, that's my collection of French Indian War games, minus a couple that I just couldn't find today. And A Few Acres of Snow is somewhere around here, but I couldn't locate that one. That's why I'm organizing my war games. So, I think we hit over 20 French Indian War games here. I hope this might be a little informative for you, and if anything on these it's interesting, is most all of these are grand strategy games and not tactical. In fact, the only tactical French Indian War games on this table is Hold the Line by Worthington, and then my French Indian War volumes 1 and 2. So it's interesting, game designers went with the whole French Indian War rather than individual battles. Of course, we do have Dennis Bishop's White Dog set, but that really never got going or printed. Well, I think that's about it. Thank you everyone for watching my videos. Please subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 viewers, and this weekend we will be playing Rourke's Drift at Walt L's house with area movement based on Worthington's Victoria Cross 2 system. So, I think I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you. Stay safe. Be kind. Be courteous. And I saw the other day a sign that said, kindness is free. Sort of cool if you think about it. Thank you.